Good day, ma'am. I'm Marivic Asis from Group 1. So, the assigned report to us was the work of Dr. Seuss and his work. So, the first thing, who is Dr. Seuss? Dr. Seuss was an American children author, political cartoonist, illustrator, poet, animator, screenwriter, and a filmmaker. He is known for his work writing and illustrating more than 60 books under the pen name, which is Dr. Seuss. So, one of his work was this story, which is There's a Rocket in My Pocket. It's a classic novel for children. This story on the surface seems to have no inherent purpose besides entertain children with silly monsters or with silly names. The first theory centers on a spirit world, and the second on a paranoid schizophrenia. So, what I said, paranoid schizophrenia is characterized by predominantly positive symptoms of schizophrenia, including delusions and hallucinations. These debilitating symptoms blur the line between what is real and what isn't, making it difficult for the person to lead a typical life. So now I will play the story of Dr. Zeus. There's a rocket in my pocket by Dr. Seuss. Did you ever have feeling there's a wasket in your basket? Or a neuro in your bureau? Or was it in your closet? Sometimes I feel quite certain there's a curtain in the curtain. Oh my. Sometimes I have the feeling there's a lock behind the clock. And the shelf up in the shelf, I have talked to him myself. That's the kind of house I lived in. There's an ink in the sink and the lamp on the lamp. And they're rather nice, I think. Some of them are very friendly, like the yacht in the pot. But the yottle in the bottle? Some are friendly, some are not. I like the table on the table and the gear under the chair. But that bofa on the sofa? Well, I wish he wasn't there. He kinda ignore me. All those napboards on the cupboards, they're good fun to have about. But that note brush on my toothbrush? Hmm, him I could do without. The only one I'm really scared of is that vog under the rug. Oh my. And that chimney up in the chimney. I don't like him not at all. And it makes me sort of nervous when the Zal scuds down the hall. But the yaps on the steps, they're great fun to have around. And so are many, many other friends that I have found. Like the teller and the Neller and the Geller and the Deller and the Beller and the Weller and the Zeller in the cellar and the Gilling on the ceiling and the Zower in my shower. He fits in. And the Zillow on my pillow. I don't care if you believed it. That's the kind of house I lived in. and I hope we never lived it. And that was the story of the walk. There's a Walket in my pocket. Now that we are done with the story, we will now talk about the elements of the story. First is the theme. Dr. Seuss' classic novel for children, There's a Walket in My Pocket, is about a boy who gives the reader a tour of his house and the fantastic creatures to live in it. The first line of Seuss' A Rebel Masterpiece dives right into the heart of the message. Things exist around us that we do not fully understand. Yes, because sometimes we might think that there is something behind our back or something is whispering beside our ears, or sometimes like the boy talk about what he saw in his house. Next is setting. It is the house where the boy give us a tour. Next is the characters. First is the boy, and then the name included in the slide was the imaginary friend that the boy talk about. Next, point of view. First person, because the text using the first person pronoun which is I. Next, characterization. Direct characterization. The author literally tells what the character is like. For example, did you ever feel there's a wasket in your basket? This gives us the idea that the boy is giving or having an imagination about what he saw in his house. Next, plot. The plot includes the exposition statement. It features a little boy talking about what strange creatures live in his house. Next is the rising action. When he started go around on the kitchen, where he will see the yattle and the bottle that he did not like to play with because some of them are not nice. Next is the conflict. I, the text included internal. This is where the boy thinks that there is something under the rug that scare him. Why I call it internal? Because it implies that he think that there is something under the rug. It was just in his imagination or his own imagination. Next is the climax. This is where the boy tells about the creature he saw on the steps. Falling action. The time that he knew he had a lot of friends to play with, which he saw in the steps of their house. Next, last is the resolution. Therefore, the boy in the story tells about the creature he believed that lived in their house, to some point that he play with them and not care if we believe on him or not, just to satisfy his own beliefs and enjoyment. Thank you for listening, ma'am.